Darth, Theorist, rise. What if Luke Skywalker time-traveled back to the Phantom Menace? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The Force screams. Luke meditates in his academy on Yavin 4, deep in communion with the cosmic force, examining an ancient Sith artifact. Reality fractures. Colors that shouldn't exist burn across his vision. Time becomes liquid. When the universe stabilizes, he stands in the dusty streets of Mos Espa. The Force feels different here. Younger, less scarred. His danger sense explodes as podracer engines roar past his head. He ducks. The crowd cheers. The Boonta Eve Classic rages around him. Then he sees the boy. 9 years old, blonde hair whipping in the desert wind. Anakin Skywalker races for his freedom, and Luke's heart nearly stops. This is his father before the fall, before the mask, before everything went wrong. Luke's mind races. The artifact must have torn through time itself, but philosophy can wait. Right now, young Anakin's stabilizer is about to blow. Luke reaches through the Force. Not crude, not obvious. Surgical. Molecular. He reinforces the metal at the stress points, cools overheated components with Menace techniques. To everyone watching, nothing changes, but Anakin's pod holds together 3 more crucial seconds, long enough to avoid Sebulba's trap. A voice behind him.
Do you feel that?
Luke turns. Qui-Gon Jinn stands there, eyes narrowed, hand near his lightsaber. The Jedi Master feels the manipulation.
Feel what?
His deflection is weak. 3 decades of leading the new Jedi Order have made him terrible at lying. Qui-Gon studies the weathered face, the calloused hands, the way Luke stands. Balanced, ready, dangerous.
You're no moisture farmer, and that was no simple Force trick.
The crowd erupts. Anakin wins. The boy leaps from his pod, surrounded by cheering friends. Shmi rushes forward. Luke watches mother embrace son and makes a decision that will reshape everything. He's going to save them all. But first, he needs allies. The 2 Jedi before him might be his only hope. Question is, how much truth can they handle?
Your name?
Ben Lars.
Obi-Wan joins them, Padawan braid swinging.
Master, the boy won. We can...
He stops, senses the tension. Hand drifts to his lightsaber.
Peace, Obi-Wan. Our friend here is explaining how he performed a Force technique I've never seen in over 40 years of study.
Luke's mind calculates. These men are about to take Anakin to Coruscant, to the Council, to Palpatine. Every instinct screams to act now, but the Force whispers patience.
I learned from unconventional teachers, far from the core worlds. Your mission here involves the boy, doesn't it?
How could you possibly know that?
Qui-Gon raises a hand. His expression shifts from suspicion to intrigue.
The Force brought you here, just as it brought us. You're coming with us.
Master?
The Council will want to meet someone with abilities like these. Besides, I expect he has knowledge we need. Do you not, Ben?
Luke nods slowly. Knowledge is an understatement. He knows Qui-Gon dies in less than 72 hours, that Palpatine is Darth Sidious, that the clone army waits on Kamino, that Order 66 is programmed into every trooper's brain. The weight of omniscience crushes him. They return to the slave quarters. Luke watches his father's young self with fascination. The boy is brilliant, kind, eager to help. No trace of Vader yet, just potential, infinite, and terrifying.
Are you a wizard?
Luke almost laughs.
Not quite. Just someone who wants to help.
I can tell. Mom says I can always tell about people. You're sad about something that hasn't happened yet.
The words hit like a lightsaber through the chest. Even untrained, Anakin's Force sensitivity is remarkable. Luke kneels to the boy's eye level.
Sometimes we carry sadness for things we hope to prevent.
Like how Mom worries about me racing even though I always win.
Exactly like that.
Hours later, aboard the Queen's ship heading to Coruscant, Luke meditates in a cargo hold. The Force swirls like a hurricane. Every choice creates ripples. Save Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan never trains Anakin. Expose Palpatine too early, and the Sith Lord escapes. Move too fast, and the Council brands him a traitor. Qui-Gon finds him there.
Your meditation technique is unlike anything in our archives.
Luke opens his eyes.
Master Jin, what if I told you the Republic is in more danger than you realize? I would say you're telling me something I already suspect. The Senate's corruption runs deep. The Force itself feels unbalanced. It's worse than corruption. The Sith have returned.
Qui-Gon doesn't flinch, doesn't argue, simply nods.
The one who followed us in the desert.
Maul.
Just an apprentice. A distraction. The true Sith Lord is already in the Senate, already moving pieces into position for a war that will destroy the Jedi Order.
Now Qui-Gon reacts, eyes widening slightly.
You're certain?
More certain than I've ever been about anything.
The Council won't believe this. Not without proof.
Then we get proof. But first, we keep you alive on Naboo.
What do you mean, keep me alive?
Alarms blare. They've arrived at Coruscant. Time to face the Council. Time to change everything. The Council chamber hasn't changed much. Same circle of seats, same panoramic view of endless cityscape, same suffocating tradition. But Luke sees ghosts. Empty seats where masters will fall. Yoda, so much younger, ears perked with curiosity instead of weighted by regret. Mace Windu radiates controlled power. Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, Shak-Ti, all alive, all doomed if nothing changes.
Unusual, your presence is. Strong in the Force, yet trained by no Jedi we know.
Luke centers himself. Every word matters.
Masters, I've come with a warning. The Sith have infiltrated the Republic at its highest levels.
Silence.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Have they? Or have they been hiding, following the rule of two, preparing for this exact moment? Impossible. We would sense such a presence. Would you? When was the last time any of you personally investigated the Senate's activities? When did you last question why the Trade Federation suddenly has a droid army capable of occupying entire systems?
Careful. You border on accusation without evidence.
Luke takes a breath. Time for a calculated risk.
The convenient timing of this Naboo crisis. The upcoming election to replace Valorum. None of this seems orchestrated to you.
The room erupts in whispers. Several masters look genuinely disturbed.
Serious accusations, these are. Proof, have you?
On Naboo, you'll face a Sith apprentice named Darth Maul. But he's not the Master. The Master is someone you see regularly. Someone who clouds your vision through proximity, who hides in plain sight. And if you send Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to Naboo without reinforcements, Qui-Gon dies. The Queen gets her planet back, but the Sith win the larger game.
Qui-Gon, silent until now, speaks.
Masters, regardless of his claims, this man's Force abilities are unlike anything I've encountered. He saved young Skywalker during the pod race with a technique that defied conventional understanding.
Young Skywalker. Yes. Tested, he must be.
They bring in Anakin. Luke watches his young father face the same test. Fear leads to anger. The Council senses Anakin's fear, his attachment to his mother.
I'm not afraid.
You will be.
Luke can't help himself.
Fear is not the enemy. Fear without understanding is. The boy has every right to worry about his mother, enslaved on a desert planet. Instead of teaching him to suppress that fear, teach him to channel it into compassion, into action.
The Council turns in shock. No one speaks to them this way.
The old ways. The absolute detachment you preach creates vulnerabilities. Emotional suppression doesn't eliminate feelings. It drives them underground where the dark side can exploit them.
Who are you to lecture this council?
Luke stands straighter. Just for a moment, he lets his full power ripple through the Force. Not aggressively, just present. Every master feels it. The depth, the magnitude, power that dwarfs even Yoda's. Several masters lean back.
I'm someone trying to prevent catastrophe. Send me to Naboo with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Let me prove the Sith are real. Let me show you what's coming.
Yoda and Mace exchange a long look.
To Naboo, go with them you will. But watched you will be. Trust, earned it must be.
Luke bows. It's not everything, but it's enough. As they leave, Anakin tugs on Luke's robes.
They don't like me.
Luke kneels again.
They're afraid of change. Of anything that challenges what they know. But change isn't always bad, Anakin. Sometimes it's the only thing that can save us.
Will you teach me? The way you use the Force?
We'll see.
Before they leave for Naboo, Luke pulls Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan aside privately.
When you land, Maul will be waiting. He's trained specifically to kill Jedi. Fast, aggressive, relentless. We've faced dark side users before. Not like this. He uses a double-bladed saber. He'll try to separate you. If he does, Qui-Gon dies.
Qui-Gon studies him carefully.
You speak as if you've seen this happen.
In a way, I have. Trust me when I say we cannot afford to lose you, Master Jin.
The Naboo mission unfolds. The Queen's forces retake the palace. Jar Jar leads the Gungans into battle. And in the Theed hangar, exactly as Luke predicted, Darth Maul appears. The Sith's yellow eyes lock onto the three Jedi. His double blade ignites with a crimson hiss. Maul attacks with fury. Luke slides between him and Qui-Gon, green saber meeting red. Sparks fly. Maul snarls, surprised at the strength behind Luke's blade.
Stay with the Queen. Protect her and Anakin.
We fight together.
Not this time. I need you alive for what comes next.
The duel rages. Maul flips, kicks, lashes out with both blades. Luke parries without effort. To Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan watching, it looks like poetry. To Maul, it feels like fighting a wall of fire. Maul forces Luke toward the energy fields. It's a mistake. Luke lets the red blade pass inches from his chest, then twists, slamming Maul backward with a force push so refined it shatters the control panel. Energy barriers flicker and collapse.
By the Force.
We're watching mastery beyond our age.
The fight ends differently than history remembers. Maul leaps high, attempting a death strike from above. Luke does not move. He lifts his free hand and halts Maul midair like a puppet on strings, then drags him downward hard. A single green sweep ends the duel. Silence falls. Anakin watches with wide eyes. To him, Ben is unstoppable. To Qui-Gon, this is proof. Proof of Sith. Proof of power the Council can't ignore. To Luke, it's only step one. They return to Coruscant victorious. Naboo is freed, the Trade Federation defeated, and in the Senate, exactly as Luke feared, history continues its course. Valorum is dismissed as Supreme Chancellor. The vote of no confidence passes. Naboo's Senator Palpatine delivers an impassioned speech about leadership and unity. The Senate elects him as Chancellor. Luke watches from the gallery, jaw tight. Even saving Qui-Gon couldn't prevent this. Palpatine's rise was too carefully orchestrated, too deeply embedded in Republic politics. But one critical difference exists. Qui-Gon lives. The Jedi Master takes Anakin as his Padawan, openly, with Obi-Wan elevated to knight and staying close as a mentor. Luke quietly guides both when he can, layering in techniques about balance, compassion, facing fear directly. The Council watches him warily, unsure what to make of this rogue guardian who bends rules without shame. And Palpatine notices. He invites Luke to the Chancellor's office under the pretense of thanking him for his service.
Ben Lars, isn't it? Your skills are impressive. The Republic is fortunate to count such men among our defenders.
Luke bows politely, but says nothing. Inside his stomach twists. He feels the darkness radiating from this man. So familiar, so obvious now that he stands before it.
Tell me, where did you train? Your techniques seem quite unconventional.
In the Outer Rim, far from the core.
Fascinating. Perhaps we'll have occasion to speak more. I'm always interested in those with unique perspectives on the Force.
The threat hangs unspoken. Palpatine suspects something. Luke can feel the Dark Lord probing at the edges of his mind, testing his defenses. Luke leaves without giving anything away, but he knows the clock is ticking. Sidious is already moving his next pieces into position. Luke presses the Council relentlessly. He shares strategic intelligence about the Separatist movement before it fully forms. He warns about systems being courted by mysterious benefactors. And most importantly, he mentions Kamino.
How do you know about Kamino? It's been erased from the archives.
Which should tell you everything. Someone doesn't want the Jedi to know about it.
Investigate, we should. But carefully.
Obi-Wan volunteers. He takes the coordinates Luke provides and travels to the Waterworld. What he finds stuns the entire order.
A clone army, commissioned years ago in the name of the Republic. 200,000 units ready now, millions more in production.
The council chamber erupts.
Commissioned by whom?
Master Cypher Diaz. But he died before the Caminos say the request even came in. Someone used his name.
If this is true, the manipulation reaches deeper than we feared.
It's true. And the puppeteer sits in the very chair you trust most.
Careful, you must be. Accusations without proof. Dangerous, they are.
Then send investigators. Follow the credits. Trace the orders. You'll find every thread leads back to one man. Chancellor Palpatine hides behind legitimacy, but every move strengthens his control.
The council splinters. Some demand caution, others demand action. Qui-Gon sides with Luke. Obi-Wan hesitates, torn. Anakin, now a Padawan, speaks without restraint.
If there's a shadow strangling the Republic, shouldn't we cut it down?
The words hang heavy. Anakin's boldness draws disapproving looks, but Luke sees fire enter the council's eyes. This conversation would have never happened in the timeline he came from. Back then, the Order was blind until too late. Now, doubt has entered early. That alone changes everything. The investigation begins quietly. Jedi Knights dispatch across the galaxy to follow credits, troop manifests, political decrees. For the first time, whispers of the Sith drift through the temple not as rumors, but as real possibilities. Qui-Gon finds Luke later in the gardens.
You're moving the council, but not without cost. Some see you as dangerous, Mace especially.
If mistrust keeps them alive long enough to see the truth, I'll bear it.
You speak like someone who's carried this fight before. On Naboo, you would have fallen.
The galaxy can't afford that.
For the first time, Qui-Gon places a hand on Luke's shoulder.
Then perhaps the Force truly did send you.
Palpatine feels the walls closing. His polished smile hides growing unease. This Ben Lars has twisted his foresight. The dark currents churn violently, so he accelerates. The Separatists grow bolder under his shadow command. Trade Federation fleets tighten blockades. Senate debates turn venomous. Assassination attempts ripple across the Midrim. All distractions, all excuses for more control. But the Jedi are no longer in the dark. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan uncover secret correspondences. Anakin catches coded transmissions meant for Palpatine's inner circle. Luke himself intercepts a message from Dooku, evidence of coordination too precise to ignore. At last, the Council can't deny it.
He is Sidious. Everything points back to him.
Proof before the Senate we lack. Reveal him too soon, and chaos spread it will.
Chaos has already begun. The only question is whether you control it, or he does.
They set the trap during a Senate session. Palpatine delivers another speech about unity, words dripping poison. Then Luke steps into the chamber with Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and a contingent of council members flanking them. The room erupts in confusion. Palpatine's eyes flash yellow for just a second, almost too fast to see, but Luke sees it. Qui-Gon sees it. And dozens of senators watching from their pods see it.
Enough deception. You've hidden too long, Sidious.
You think dragging me into the light will save you. The galaxy craves order, and I alone can provide it.
Lightning erupts from his fingertips. Senators scream. Guards scatter. The duel begins. The fight tears into the upper corridors. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan pressure Sidious from both flanks. Luke is the immovable center. Mace Windu and Yoda arrive moments later, joining the battle. Sidious is deadly, faster than the eye can track. His crimson blade weaves patterns of death. Lightning arcs continuously, forcing the Jedi to coordinate their defenses perfectly. But this time, he faces four masters, not unprepared Jedi in a private office. And one of those masters is Luke Skywalker, whose power eclipses anything Sidious has encountered.
Underestimate us, you have.
Your reign ends here, Sith.
Sidious snarls, channeling more dark side energy. The room shakes. Furniture explodes, but Luke remains calm, deflecting every bolt of lightning, anticipating every feint. Slowly, the Dark Lord is forced back toward a shattered viewport. At the height of the storm, Mace and Luke together disarm him. The crimson saber clatters to the floor. Sidious spits blood, laughter bubbling even in defeat.
Fools, without me, the galaxy will burn.
Then we'll rebuild it.
Mace moves to strike the final blow, but Luke raises his hand.
No,
Not like this.
he's too dangerous to leave alive.
If we execute him here, we become what he is. Justice, not vengeance. The galaxy needs to see the difference.
Yoda steps forward, gimmer stick tapping against shattered durasteel.
Right, young Ben is. Martyrs the Sith do not deserve to become.
Together, the Jedi bind Sidious in force-suppressing restraints. His power writhes against the bonds, but five masters working in concert prove too strong. They drag him through the corridors as security forces scramble to secure the area. The Senate chamber still buzzes with chaos when they return. Senators from 1,000 worlds watch in horrified silence as the Supreme Chancellor, now revealed as Darth Sidious, is brought before them in chains.
The Republic will have answers. All of them.
How long has this deception lasted? How deep does the corruption run?
Palpatine, even defeated, tries one last manipulation.
They attack your Chancellor without proof. This is a Jedi coup. They fear my strength, my vision for order.
Luke steps forward, holding up a small holoprojector. With a flick, images flood the chamber. Secret transmissions to Dooku, orders to the Trade Federation, communications with the Kaminoans about the clone army, financial records tracing bribes, assassinations, and manipulations spanning decades.
Here is your proof. Every message, every transaction, every lie.
The Senate erupts. Some senators collapse in their pods, others shout for immediate action. The evidence is overwhelming, irrefutable, Holonews broadcasts carry every second across the galaxy. Within hours, the truth spreads like wildfire. Palpatine's emergency powers, his rise from Naboo senator to supreme chancellor, his secret clone army meant to overthrow the Republic, all of it exposed. Mos Espa, Palpatine's aide, tries to flee and is captured at a spaceport. Sly Moore disappears into the underworld. The entire political machine Sidious built begins to collapse. In the Jedi Temple, the Council convenes an emergency session.
We were blind. He was right in front of us for years.
Failed, we did. But a second chance, given we have been.
Qui-Gon looks at Luke with new understanding.
You knew all of this would happen. Every move, every countermove. How?
Luke remains silent for a long moment. Then,
because I've lived through the consequences of your failure. I've seen what happens when the Sith win, when the Jedi fail, when the galaxy burns for decades under tyranny. I was sent here to prevent that future.
The Council absorbs this. Some masters look disturbed, others awed, but no one questions him further. Results speak louder than explanations. The Galactic Senate institutes emergency reforms. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma lead a coalition to dismantle Palpatine's authoritarian framework. The clone army on Kamino is placed under Senate oversight with strict ethical guidelines. Chips meant to enforce behavioral modification are discovered in every clone's brain and immediately removed. The Separatist movement collapses without Sidious pulling strings. Count Dooku, exposed as a Sith apprentice, is hunted across the Outer Rim. Many systems that would have joined the Confederacy instead return to negotiation tables, demanding reform but no longer seeking war. The Trade Federation's leadership stands trial. Newt Gunray and his conspirators are sentenced to life imprisonment. Corporate influence in the Senate is curtailed through new legislation. The Jedi Order faces its own reckoning. The Council acknowledges they grew complacent, too detached from the galaxy they swore to protect. Reforms begin internally. Emotional suppression is questioned. Attachment is examined not as absolute evil, but as something requiring balance and wisdom. Qui-Gon formally trains Anakin with Obi-Wan at his side as a full knight and secondary mentor. Luke slips into an advisory role, teaching both masters and Padawan lessons about compassion, choice, and facing fear directly. 3 voices instead of 1. The boy who would have become Vader now walks a different path. Anakin flourishes under this guidance. His natural empathy is encouraged rather than suppressed. His attachment to his mother is addressed directly. Luke personally funds Shmi's freedom and relocation to Naboo, where she lives in peace. The fear and anger that would have fueled Anakin's fall are processed healthily, with support instead of judgment. The galaxy enters a period historians will later call the Reformation era. Not perfect, not without struggle, but no longer sliding toward the abyss. On a quiet evening months later, Luke stands on the temple balcony, gazing at Coruscant's endless lights. The Force flows around him, calmer than he's felt in years, less fractured, less scarred, yet still uncertain. Qui-Gon joins him, 2 cups of tea in hand. He offers one to Luke.
You carry sorrow even in victory.
Luke accepts the tea, nodding slowly.
Because I know victory is never final. There are always more threats, more darkness waiting. Perhaps that's why the Force sent you here, to remind us that the future isn't fixed, that we must act, not wait, that vigilance and compassion together create lasting peace.
Luke allows himself a rare smile.
Perhaps.
They stand in comfortable silence. Below, the city pulses with life, billions of beings going about their lives, unaware of how close they came to catastrophe, unaware that one man's arrival changed everything.
Will you tell us who you really are? Where you truly came from?
Luke considers this. Then,
does it matter? I'm here. The crisis is averted. The galaxy has a chance now. You're right. It doesn't matter. Though I suspect the Force has more work for you yet.
Luke laughs softly.
Doesn't it always?
In the training halls below, Anakin practices forms with other younglings. His laughter echoes through the temple, innocent, hopeful, unchained by destiny. Luke watches his father and feels something he hasn't felt in decades. Genuine hope. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you'd like to join us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.